The first part of any good financial system is a profit and loss statement, or a P&L. The profit and loss statement shows just that, profit and loss, but it's a bit more complicated than that. The components of the profit and loss statement look an awful lot like the components of a budget. At the top, we have an income section, money that has come in during the period of time. Usually, that period of time is 1 year, but it can also be 3 months, 6 months, or even 1 month, depending on what you want to track. Unlike the budget, which looks to the future, the P&L looks to the past. We're looking at how much income you actually earned during a period of time, not how much you think you'll earn during that same period. Make sure you're using categories to sort your income instead of presenting a long list of all the details. You already spent time building categories that made sense for your budget. Those same categories make sense here as well. After the income section, you'll have the expense section, with the expenses sorted into categories that match your budget. Again, these are the expenses you actually paid during the period of time, not the expenses you think you'll pay during that same period. If you're familiar with the profit and loss statement format for companies or larger entities, you may have seen expenses divided into operating and non-operating expenses. Don't worry as much about following this vocabulary. Instead, use the categories that make sense for you. The P&L statement you're creating isn't for investors or auditors. It's just for you, for now. The profit and loss statement ends with a bottom line, the net amount of income that is left after you subtract the expenses from the income. It can also be a loss if your income isn't enough to cover your expenses for the period. Hence the name profit and loss statement. It can show either, depending on what the numbers report. You've put a lot of time into developing a budget, and as you start entering actual results into your budget categories, you've already started building your profit and loss statement. Because a P&L is really just a budget that shows actual results for a period of time. But you may also find that there were types of income or categories of expenses that you forgot about. This almost always happens the first few times you prepare a budget. This is a really good time to add them to the profit and loss statement, and then use those updated categories to build your budget next time. You may also realize that you can't exactly remember why you budgeted something, or what exactly you meant by a particular line item. For example, supplies. Were you talking about office supplies or creative supplies? This is a good time to review those notes you added to your budget. And if they're incomplete or less than clear, you may want to spend a bit more time on the notes the next time around. Your budget and your P&L are inextricably related. A budget is prospective. It shows what you think will happen in the future. It is a financial plan for allocating resources. Your P&L is reflective. It shows how you actually allocated your resources during a period of time. The more aligned you can make these two reports by using similar categories, making consistent assumptions, and making notes to yourself throughout the process, the better they will work together. If you're using a database system like Excel, this is easy. Simply add a column for the actual results. If you're using a software system like QuickBooks, FreshBooks, or something else, you can include budget figures in the same categories you've set up. No matter how you choose to track your finances, you'll be able to seamlessly integrate your budget and P&L in a way that works for you.